And her father remarried, and I think she was like 11. And if you have heard the the story or read the story of Sandra Cisneros 11, that there's those moments when you feel that you're 11, but other days you feel like there's that 10, 9, that 8-year-old, the 5-year-old inside of you. This little girl lost her mother when she was, I think, 11, 12 years old. And it was very difficult. Couple of years later, the father remarried. Things were going well at home. So she dropped out of middle school, she lived in a border town. She went across, but one of the good things was that she was a good citizen. And she started working, babysitting, being a housekeeper, did not return to school. And she wanted to go to school, but she was in a situation where it was just survival. She felt safe, that she had a roof over her head, she had food, and she was making $30 a week from 7 o'clock in the morning to 7 o'clock at night, taking care of 2 kids. And months passed, and this family from Corpus Christi asked, like, what are you doing? What is it that you want to do? I understand that you dropped out of school. Why did you drop out of school? And they were very interested in helping her. So they opened their home. And this little girl came to live to Corpus Christi in the sugar. She was, by the time she was already 15 years old, and she was enrolled at a high school. She was in one of those classrooms, in a high school where you have your 15-minute periods. And it was a culture shock. She was in the silent period for 3 years. She was terrified and she felt invisible in the classroom. She sat there, she was taking lots of notes. Sometimes she would go and ask for a path to go to the mental lab to get help. And she would cry a lot. But luckily, there was teacher candidate, bilingual, elementary, way back then in the 1900s, when you used to get certification first through A, there was this teacher candidate working during the day at the school, assisting the English teacher, English language teacher that was also the local teacher, helping all that English learners. And he would work with all the English learners and so on, like, don't be discouraged. You're gonna make it. You're gonna do well. If you try to help, and everything that he was learning in the evenings when he was going to school to become a bilingual teacher, he would come and apply in the lab with the high school students. So this girl, she sat quietly at the first back, and high school teachers, unfortunately, back then would not receive a lot of training on working with English learners. And it was difficult when they were trying to manage and teach 150, 180 students all through the day, and then to have to individualize or modify or the instructions or the needs of the English learners. So this young girl struggled, but was able to finish and graduate from high school. But that teacher candidate was there, and other teachers on campus, and the career services counselor, the secretary, they were there, and it was the ethic of caring. There was all these individuals that care and wanted to help her. So she kept this dream. I'm gonna go to school. I don't know how I'm gonna pay. I may have to go to the military to get money. And, because you get all the recruiters when during your senior year. And luckily, some advisors from the LUNAC organization came, and somebody, this counselor took the time to sit down and give her that information to go to college, to apply to different community colleges. So this young girl graduated, and at first she wanted to become an administrator and go into some type of business. And she thought education as the only way to improve her future, to help herself and help others, her younger siblings and others. And she went into this major thinking that she was gonna go into accounting, but she really wanted to teach, but she was terrified of public speaking, and she figured if I go into this career, I don't have to really speak to anybody. I'll be dealing with numbers, my boss, a few people. So after a year, she didn't like that. So she found out about the bilingual education program, and then there was a Title VII grant that provided funding for teacher candidates, scholarships. And so she saw that opportunity that, okay, I don't have money, and this is something that I want to do. So she ended up going to college to become a bilingual teacher. That was her dream. She did clinical teaching in a fourth grade classroom and loved it. But because that certification program was first through A, when it was time to get a job, there was the opportunity to teach at a newcomer program, middle school newcomer program, 6th, 7th, 8th grade mathematics and science. Now, as a first grade teacher, we were only required to take algebra, not any advanced mathematics. But at that age, she thought, oh, I can do it all. Multiple planning, science, math, all three grade levels, not a problem. 6th, 7th, 8th grade. So it was, she was very excited and happy to work, to get that job and to work with new arrivals, because she saw the opportunity for her to help other students like herself that were learning English. And she felt that, like somebody said, you're making an impact in the classroom. But once she was there for a few years, she understood that in order to make a greater impact, you have to explore and take a risk and do other things. So she ended up getting a bachelor's, a master's degree in curriculum instruction, because at first she wanted to impact curriculum, to improve the classroom, the resources for the English learners. Then she realized, well, if I'm working with the curriculum and others, that's good. But there's others out there, higher level that are making those decisions as to what curriculum we're gonna implement. So she decided to go into educational leadership, and one of her professors planted the seed: go to school and get a PhD. But you need to leave this city in order to get your PhD, get the experience that you need, and then come back. Well, 50 years later, that little girl is standing here in front of you. And I want to thank all of you for choosing this profession. And as I mentioned earlier, there's multiple identities, and a lot of times you see, oh, the director, but you don't know that story. And the reason I'm sharing the story is because you're going to have children in the classroom, and you don't know their story. You don't know if in the future they're going to be the surgeons that they're going to be operating on you or one of your kids, your own kids. And it doesn't matter where the kids come from, what is their background. All children come to school excited about learning, and they have also this dream of what they would like to become in the future. And William James, the first part of this book is the teacher who succeeds in giving the self-love by the pupils. It goes back to the relationships. That yes, you're gonna have the children that are a little challenging, but once you get to know their story and why they're behaving the way they are, or acting the way they're acting, these children, they're gonna love you and they're gonna thank you for the impact that you're gonna make in their lives. So, and I'm sharing this story because, as I said earlier, one of your tasks is to start thinking about your own story. Get your little journal for that semester and start writing, and do some key points for you to share with the students. It's important for them to know that you are human, that you have a story, and a lot of times you're going to see that you're going to be making those connections and have a stronger relationship with the students, and they're going to do anything you ask them to do because they're going to love you. They're going to know that you're sincere and that you care for them. So I'm going to move now into the next phase of clinical teaching. So you're here, and I'm sure you have a lot of questions. So one of the activities that we have is the KWO chart. Anybody, have you used this graphic organizer before? Yes, right? It's very familiar. So if you have your mobile device, I think some of you have a computer, and even if you don't, if you have your notebook, just do a KWL chart on a piece of paper. And for those of you that have the mobile device, go back to the agenda. Let me see here. And there's a hyperlink here. So there's this document for you to type, to start typing. What is it that you know about clinical teaching? So we're going to take a moment for you to type. Okay, I see some of you already getting in there. So just anything that you know about clinical teaching. And then take the 1 minute. And we'll be able to see, as you're typing, we'll be able to see this is going to be a living document. And for those of you that have a notebook that don't have a mobile device, just create your own chart and write down what you know about clinical teaching. Okay, I see probably somebody that is in a year-long program have to go 3 days a week. Yes. If you go to Blackboard, go back to the agenda, and it's hyperlinked right here at the end where it says resources at the bottom, KWL chart. Okay, so you're already familiar with this graphic organizer. Wondering, what are some of you wondering? What are some of the questions that you have? Okay, so one of the questions is how many days do you have to teach? If you're in a traditional clinical teaching, 1 semester, you'll be in the classroom 70 days. We're asking the syllabus is going to take 72 days, but that's because we will have a little cushion. TEA requires 70 days instructional days in the classroom with the children. Yes. Okay, what happens if you get sick and you cannot be on campus? Well, TEA allows up to 5 days for illnesses, hospitalization. So we have those absences that can be excused. Now, if the semester is over and you feel like, okay, I don't have enough days, graduation and certification are 2 separate things. You can graduate, you can get all your requirements except the 70 days because life happens. So you graduate, you can cross the stage, but you would not be fully certified. The semester ends, the academic semester ends, the first week of May. The schools, they go through the end of May. So you can continue going to the school to make up those days. And once you complete all the days, then IPES will review your field log, and you will, at that time, she will submit the recommendation to TEA. But as she mentioned, you have to apply to TEA for that. You have to submit your application, and you don't want to submit your application until you're finished, that you have completed all your days. Yes. Yes, what happens if you're sick more than 5 days? That's where you have those additional days at the end of the semester where you need to make up those additional days. So you will be excused for up to 5 days, but anything above that, you have to make up those days. And right now, because it's the spring semester, I believe most districts end the Friday before Labor Day weekend, And then they do have like 2 additional days after the Labor Day weekend, but those are choose as a makeup days for the district, like severe weather. So just make sure that, you try to get all your days. If you do not get the days by the end of May, for whatever reason, we have had students that come back at the beginning of August, and they finish, if they're missing 10 days. But that's, something that we have to coordinate, with a mentor teacher to make sure it's okay for you to come back to that, same classroom. Yes. The hyperlink. Yes, go back to the agenda.
Well, stuff like I have the same problem.
Yeah, it's
I
not-
just understand it.
Oh, you have to refresh it. If you have the document. It's a Google Doc. And then you click here. And it takes you there. Do you have access to the agenda? Yes. Okay, so if you just refresh, then that KWO chart should be hyperlinked. Okay, that's a very good question. And you know what? I'm gonna give you, I'm gonna have somebody, so I have a volunteer to pass the microphone. Thank you. Okay, so that way everybody can hear.
In public.
All right, so my question is back to the sick days. And been given 5 days, according to TEA, that are excused absences throughout our tenure of clinical teaching. My question is about COVID. If the CDC currently recommends that we isolate for 5 days if we suspect by having symptoms of COVID or if we have a positive COVID test. So does TEA offer an exemption for COVID to the 5 excused absences, or are we just supposed to go to school and risk getting our students sick?
Okay, right? Okay, TEA. I need to check to see, if the governor's, waiver, still in effect. Because last semester, during the pandemic, we got the governor's, waiver where we could reduce up to 20% of the total numbers of clinical teaching. So any changes semester by semester. It was still active at the end of the whole semester. So let me check the newsletter that we're gonna receive from, we receive a weekly newsletter from TEA. So let me check this week. Because last semester, at the beginning of the semester, when we started in August, it had been suspended. And it was suspended for a few weeks. And then mid-August, it was reactivated again. So that's a very good question. And that task for me to do, and then I will post it on the clinical professional experiences Blackboard. That's the way of communication, and make sure that you have your email address, your UTSA email address, or your personal address where you're getting those announcements. So let's hope that the waiver is still in effect, then 20% will be reviewed. And if not, then you can only be excused the 5 days.
Okay, so then would your recommendation of the clinical professional experiences group be to go to school with a positive COVID test?
I cannot, I cannot give a recommendation on that. That's gonna be a personal decision
and the district. That's something that you need to, speak with, your mentor teacher and look at the district, policy.
Well, I think that the requirement of EA graduation would kind of outweigh that, right? I mean, I don't want to sound like I'm trading. I apologize if it is the case, but just trying to look for a definitive answer because our goal is to graduate.
Yeah.
And I would hate for it to be held against us for us to think that precaution is a good idea in the event that we get COVID. But then for UTSA or TBA or whomever, you should not have been cautious. And you should have went to school because now you don't get your certificate.
Yes, no, that's a very good question, and, like I said, I will check on that, governor's waiver and then, get back, to all of you. And, that scenario that you're, posting, I will be sharing with our, TA, liaison, because it comes up, and I'm sure my colleagues at other universities are having, the same conversation.
So I have two questions. The first one is, how do we make sure we're on the list of the important emails getting sent out? Because I know for a lot of us in this section, we never got the email for this meeting at all until last minute someone put it in a chat that we have. So I want to make sure that we're getting the important information that we need. And my second question is, what exactly is required of us before we start clinicals? Like, what's mandatory?
Yes. Going back to, all the announcements are gonna be, posted for all, meetings and all that, information. And that email, there was an email sent through the clinical professional experiences, and there was also an Outlook, invitation, sent. So,
We didn't get any of that at all. Like a lot of us didn't in this
Okay.
meeting.
just send an email to the clinical professional experiences. Okay, you already did. Okay. Okay, so that way I can, double check the listserv, the database to make sure that all of you are, listed.
Yeah, I just want to make sure, because I know last semester as well, I was not put into the course until the end of the semester where I missed out like on a lot of information about trainings. So that was why I also want to know what's required mandatory before clinicals, before we start our clinicals. So I make sure I don't miss any important information anymore.
Yes, and tomorrow, when you meet with your supervisor is gonna go over the syllabus. The syllabus has everything that is, required. Your observation, I'm just gonna give you a quick overview. 70 days for, traditional clinical teachers, 84 days for year-long clinical teaching. Now, observation, there's the formal observations that are required by TEA. There's gonna be, 3 days, three formal observations for traditional clinical teaching, and 4 formal observations for the year-long, clinical teaching. There's going to be, this afternoon, you're gonna get information, from career services about, preparing for job interviews, preparing your resume. On March, the last day of March, it's a Friday, and it's on the syllabus. There's, mix and mingle, which is the equivalent to, kind of like a job, career fair. But it's more, casual, where you'll have the opportunity to come and meet with a school district, representative, in preparation for, you've been hired for their districts. It is their recruitment event. So that is a requirement. It's an evening event. And I'm saying evening, it's only 2 hours from 4 to 6 p.m. So that's one of those required events. Seminars, you have weekly seminars with your supervisor. All of them, right now, they're scheduled to be online, virtual, via Zoom. Your group, you're gonna be provided with that information by the supervisor. Some supervisors may request or negotiate with you to do couple of seminars in person. But right now, these are it's a weekly requirement, and they'll be scheduled virtually. Any other question? Yes. The microphone, do you have the microphone? Yes.
Yeah, it looks like. Oh, no.
Oh, yeah, got it.
I'm a days for absences. Does that mean we have to make up those absences during the rest of May, or those just we get credit for? I'm not sure about them.
Yes. You have to have evidence, provide some, a note to your supervisor and communicate with your mentor teacher. And these 5 days that are used by TA, you don't have to make them up. Yes.
What are the like trainings required before we start clinical teaching? I know on the Blackboard, there's like a bunch of TEA required trainings of like the bullying and stuff. And some of those say that they're required before clinical teaching and some just before being certified. So when do we have to get all of those done?
Those were due yesterday. Yes, those, that's why during the orientation information session, you get the list of those sessions. And you have that on all that information on Blackboard for you to go back and get instructions for each one of the training and for you to upload the certificates. In a ideal situation, TA would like for all of you to complete those trainings before you start clinical teaching, and that's why that deadline was December 15, December 16. But I understand. Life happens, during the spring semester, there's a lot of things with classes and work. So this past 2 years, we have gotten some leniency, flexibility, where as long as you get them done before, the sooner the better. Because Impedes is going to check that you have all those trainings completed.
Okay, thank you. Because on the Blackboard, some of those specifically say required before beginning clinical teaching, and some of them say required before being approved for certification. So I think that's a little unclear on the Blackboard.
Thank you.
And I know some of those emails are still being sent out about the youth mental health first aid sessions and stuff. But I just wanted to
Yes. Because if you miss the deadline of, the first deadline, then the message is you have to get it done before you graduate. In order for you to get your certification, Yes, you can still graduate and not have that one training, but Team Perez cannot recommend you for certification until you have all the training completed. And thank you for pointing that out. We'll make an adjustment, and the reason probably that we have a message, those two messages, is because we have our year-long, semester students, so it's always ongoing. And, mental health, that's one of the trainings, all the trainings except, mental health, are, online, where you can do it, you can do them, complete them at any time. The mental health, we have a provider that requires for you to complete, pre-work, and then go in person and do the session, in a small, setting, 25, no more than 30, students. Yes, any other questions? Yes.
Are hours in person and the kids that actually use off the school holidays for those 3 days of the week? So how's that gonna affect our hours?
Okay, how for those that are going to school 3 days out of the week? The question is, if the children have holidays, and we work with 20 plus school districts. So everybody has a different spring break, different holidays. So you have to plan accordingly. So first week of week, get your calendar. And you're gonna look at, just count, get the school district calendar. Okay, perfect. But that's a very good question, and I'm sure others have, that question. Now, during spring break, it gets kind of tricky because some clinical teachers, they take spring break, the school district, has the spring break, but UTSA still has classes. So you're responsible for those that are coming to school, that are taking classes, you're responsible to come, to still, attend, your classes here at UTSA. Then when UTSA has, spring break and the school is back in session, well, you're responsible to be, on session with the student. So at the end of the day, TA wants to make sure that you have the total numbers that are required for clinical teaching.
So just to confirm, all of those modules that we have to do and all the forms and everything, we get them done this week, we should be okay, right? Get all of them?
Oh, yeah, and to try to get them done, so that way you don't have to worry about that, later. Yes. Okay, any other? Yes.
So for my question, could we just like come in like early and later, make up for hours? Okay.
That's a very good question. So I just say later, okay, so clinical teachers, if you're at the elementary level, you're expected to be there, and it depends when school starts. Some schools start at 7:30 and end at 2:45, 2:50. Other schools start at 8 and end at 3:15. So I'm just gonna pick time that will be just kind of general, 7:30 to 3:30. So that way, the expectation is there that you are there, whatever the teacher is required, whatever the work day looks like for the teacher, that is mandatory for the teacher. So, but you need to arrive there early in the morning before the bell rings, a few minutes before to be ready for the kids. But half a day is gonna count. Let's say you can actually say, oh, I'm gonna say 5 o'clock, or oh, I'm gonna do half a day from 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock. No, half a day is gonna be from 7:30 in the morning to 11:30. That's 4 hours. And for the afternoon, if you have to be out in the morning and come in the afternoon, then you need to be there from 11:30 to 3:30. And like I said, you will work with whatever schedule whatever schedule your mentor teacher has at that campus. Yes.
So when it comes to like, the meetings, like, they have a meeting, do you have to attend them as well? Or,
Okay, teachers meetings after school or professional development after school. Sometimes they have them on the weekends, on Saturdays. They have like Saturday academies, PD academies. And sometimes the children have a half a day release because the district has a PD in the afternoon or PLC. You are required to attend the training sessions that involve the planning and co-planning. Because if you're co-planning with a teacher, if it's half a day with the kids, and then there's a half a day of the PLC planning, then you're expected to stay there the whole day with the teacher. If it's after school, you have year-long clinical teachers, you're taking classes. You need to communicate with your mentor teacher that you cannot stay after school because you have classes at the university. So you need to make sure that you communicate that from the beginning. Yes.
So, I have an online time for a program, but I'm gonna be at a high school that doesn't get out until 4:15. So I'm not sure if I'm just supposed to attend the meeting and then I won't get any attendance taken off in the high school, or I'm just not really sure how.
Okay, is that for your clinical teaching course? Yes, no, that we have to have a course schedule in hours for all clinical teaching. And so that is there because it needs to be there, but your supervisor is gonna let you know what time you're gonna meet with them. Secondary level supervisors, their seminars are on Wednesday evenings. And a lot of times it's, from 5:30 to 7:30 or 8 o'clock, or, they'll let you know, they'll see everybody's situation. And then you'll negotiate with that supervisor and establish your weekly seminar.
so going back to the. That if it's scheduled on a Saturday or Sunday, you don't start.
Not Saturday or Sunday. During the instructional day, teachers are released half a day. A lot of times they're released half a day for PLC, and that's when they're looking at data, students' grades, and they're planning, co-planning with their teams. If it's during instructional day, yes, you're required to be there, and that counts as a full day. If it's after school, I highly encourage you to attend as many trainings. If they're inviting you, if they're allowing you to go to district level or after school, but your courses, your class coursework is a priority. We want you to do well academically and not get academically dismissed, because we did have one incident last semester. Our clinical teacher loved the practice, being out there, but she neglected some of her coursework. And at the end of the semester, she's gonna have to repeat many of those classes, and was not able to move forward. Principal of her, mentor teacher of her, kids love her. She was out there all the time, but in the year-long program, and did not do as well in her course. Yeah.
During the last semester, another pre-clinical teacher had an issue where the administration asked them to be on bus duty. Now that we're in clinical teaching, is that allowed, or should we just tell them to kick rocks? Or
Okay, bus duty, okay. So,
Example,
so that's like either, at the beginning, early in the morning or in the afternoon. If your mentor teacher, there's some campuses where all teachers, have to be outside. That's gonna be on on a case by case, basis. We don't want you, we want to make sure that you get the instructional piece. Yes, the pedagogical, practices as much, because we don't want you to be an hour, 45 minutes outside. And especially if it's afternoon and you have classes, you have to study for your exam. So we have to, set boundaries. We're not gonna be disrespectful, but we need to make sure that, we help you protect your time also. And you have your supervisor, that you can speak to your supervisor, you can speak, nicely with your mentor teacher, and then your supervisor, and usually, is taking care at that level with the supervisor. And then if not, then they'll come to me, and then I have to go to the principal, or I have to go to HR. But yes. Well,
Yes, so when it's staff, paid with the holiday, are we considered staff?
Yes, yes, yes and no. It goes back to, if you can, well, those of you that are traditional clinical teaching, 5 days every day for the semester, yes, you have to be there. For those of you that are, year-long clinical teaching, you're taking, classes. So that's when you, have to make a decision, okay? All the training is beneficial, but can you afford to be there the whole day, or you need to be studying, doing your homework for your class? Yes.
Or, well, I know it's 3 days a week, but is there like a specific number of hours?
Yes, about 7.5 to 8 hours per day, and then you multiply that times the number of days. Yes.
Do the year long get 5 days for each semester or for the whole year?
That's a very good question, and it's the first time. I'm gonna put it. We need to put if year-long clinical teachers get 5 days. My understanding, and PA always goes back to go look at the PAC rule. The PAC rule 228 is there. And usually they just refer me back and then they just highlight. And right now it just says 5 days for clinical teaching. So my assumption is just 5 days for the entire time. But I will ask, I will submit a question to TA in regards to your. Yes. Okay, so your question is, and your secondary level, right? Traditional, 1 semester? Yes. If the children have a holiday and teachers have PD, professional development, you need to look at your calendar and your dates. So you're gonna look at your calendar, and as long as you have 70 instructional days with the students. So if that PD doesn't count as an instructional day. So it's gonna be up to you to attend that PD. if it's early dismissal, that is considered, TA, the guidance that they give is that if it's early dismissal, that is considered a full day for the campus, for the children, so that would be counted as a full day for you. Okay, for T class, now, T class for, year-long clinical teaching, we have a new partnership with school districts where they give, is a paid clinical teaching residency. The HR department is gonna be asking you for timesheets, on a weekly basis in order for you to get, your salary. And for TA is the same thing. You do your, PO logs, and your supervisor is gonna go over the PO logs, with you. You're gonna meet your supervisor tomorrow, and you're gonna keep, we have a template, and they're gonna go over, because there's, certain things that you need to make sure that are, documented, and they'll be going over that with you. Yes.
I just. And further. They let you know that I know a lot of people have conversations where they're coming. Some of my friends, how do you get that information?
Yes, placements. Right now, we're working with all the school districts following up, with our HR placement, liaison. So we're gonna be, your supervisors have a roster with, the placement information. And if you have not received, your placement information, by the end of the day on Wednesday, do not panic, because the districts are asking us if we can give them a couple of more days. They're working with principals, some teachers, for whatever reason, were on the list to be mentors, and now they're not gonna be able to mentor. There's people that, are retiring from the district, and so they're trying to take care of their internal, placements and moving, teachers. But they're also, know that we have specific, deadlines and, timelines. So as soon as the placements are secure, they're emailing. And some of the placements are, coming in from some districts are coming in, faster, than other districts. So these 3 days, we're gonna be notifying you of your, placements. So tomorrow, when you go to your supervisor, you're gonna have the placement, information. Now, you're gonna, ask, like, okay, who's my, supervisor? You're registered for your clinical teaching class. That is, your supervisor, whoever is your, listed on your clinical teaching. I mentioned earlier, there's, a little bit of movement. There's, a handful of clinical teachers that, are gonna be moved from one supervisor to another, and that's because of, location and clustering. We have some supervisors that were traveling from North Side ISD, very close to the Northwest, over there, 90 and 410 in that area, and traveling to, Comal. So we're looking at, some of those, placements to cluster for your supervisor to spend more time, working with you and your mentor teacher, and not so much time traveling from one district, to another. So there are just a few changes that are gonna happen. But just, report to your, supervisor's, seminar tomorrow. And I'm going to share with you the supervisor's, assignment. But let's see if there are any, additional, questions, any additional, wonderings, that you have. And also, we're gonna have, this document. I'm going to add a frequently asked question, here at the bottom of this document. So it's not gonna be a new document. So we can number, the questions that you have. So these 3 days, you can just add a question and then I will go in there and provide a response. So that way, everybody can, see the question and the response. Yeah.
For those of us who don't have access to the hyperlink to this because it takes us to a download docs, will this link be emailed out so we have access to this?
Yes. Yes, and that way, and you know what, I'm gonna take time during lunch to send the group, to everybody with me. And that way you can tell me, the replies, I did not get it. So, and I'll find out what's happening, yes. Question here and then another one over there. Yes. Okay, for clinical teaching, that is 3 consecutive days. It's not just any day. It's Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And you have to plan. You need to look at the semester and count. Do as many days as you can. During your first semester, because you never know. There were questions about illnesses, why did you get sick? And it's just better that you have more days than not enough days. Yes. First day, yes. The first day is the 17th. So my goal is to have all the placements before the 17th. Some of you are going to be getting your placement on Saturday or even Sunday. We have HR personnel that don't work during the weekend, and they're sending me information. They're sending us information, and it happens every semester. So don't panic. Okay. What is the question over there? Can you pass the microphone because we cannot hear? Okay. Okay, use your teacher voice. Voice. Okay, can you repeat the question? Can you use the, I cannot hear you, I'm sorry. Okay,
It won't work that far away, probably.
it won't, okay. Can you shout?
The middle of the day, like, did this early, you start coming out again.
If you have to leave, like for personal reasons?
Yeah.
Or show up late.
Oh, okay, or arrive late. Okay, that's something that you have to communicate with your mentor teacher and your supervisor. And once again, there's circumstances that are out of our control. You may have some doctor's appointments that are scheduled, and I understand it takes 3 months, 6 months to get an appointment. Look at plan accordingly. Yes. And sorry. If you know that's gonna happen, just take a half a day. So it counts, so you get at least that half a day credit and then go that additional day, make up that half a day. Like I said, just work with your mentor teacher and your supervisor, but my recommendation in HR is, they want to clear cut, because it gets messy when you're getting 2 days here, 3 days, 3 hours, 2 hours. Yes,
Yeah, so, my question is for the teaching. So I know is the days we're supposed to be 70 days, is that like the full amount of days per semester?
for clinical, year-long clinical teaching is a total of 84 days for the 2 semesters. 84 days, because you're taking classes on Mondays, and there's some classes during the day, and then you're taking classes in the evening.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, can you pass a microphone, please?
We have a very urgent question over here.
Okay, an urgent question. Okay, can you shout?
Mentors could have to sign at the end of the semester or anything like that?
Yes, how do I track my days? There's a field log, there's a template, and your supervisor is gonna go over that tomorrow, and mentor teachers, they have to sign the log every week, not every day, but every week, and please, have them sign it every week, because right now, with, everything that is, with COVID and all, upper respiratory, issues, we have had teachers that leave and they sign the document and they didn't come, they didn't come back, then we're having to go, there's a new mentor, and the new mentor is like, well, I'm not sure. So then the supervisor, the administrator is having to sign, so please, every week, have them sign, yes. Good question. District orientations, not all districts have orientation. Only if you receive an email directly from HR, and I know that, Church Civil, East Central is having their orientation this afternoon. North Side had it on Saturday, so not all the districts are gonna have an orientation. So just show up, when you find out who your mentor teacher is, email your mentor teacher to introduce yourself and let her know that you're letting her know that you're gonna be, there on the 17th. Yes.
Well, I was emailed about and I was, say that it's a virtual orientation, but I was set to this but I have been simply, and then I didn't follow it, but I wasn't going to there either, and I'm not sure what that is or how.
Okay, NEISD, they have a virtual orientation. You have to complete certain steps before they send you an email with a link. I know that Miss Isabel Perez, Miss Isabel Chavez, she's our placement liaison. And you can also email the student placement at neisd.net, just as a follow-up. And they'll respond. They're pretty good at responding if they have not sent you that link. And that's one of the larger districts that are working right now trying to finish placing everybody. So it's okay to send a gentle reminder so you can finish everything for them. Okay, there's a question over there, and I don't know where the microphone is anymore.
Yeah, it's not working anyway.
Oh, it's not working that far, sorry. Okay, so that was about Texas registration. Yeah, PPR, Texas, practice exam. Okay, yes.
No, I don't think.
And that's Eli, he's not here, but he's our research graduate service assistant that he's working behind the scenes. Yes, okay, any more questions? Yes,
There's a lot of questions on the document.
oh, okay,
We are substituting for at the
no, if you're substituting for clinical teaching, that means that you're getting compensation. And that does not count for your clinical teaching. And there's a lot of questions, so I'm gonna ask Austin to help fill the questions here to make sure.
All right, so I want a clarification. I think we need some clarification about absences and leave regarding COVID. Is it that there are 5 absences available to them that can be excused, and then afterwards, if they miss any more days, they're gonna have to take them up, or it's just there's only 5 days that you can be absent, that's it?
Okay, right now, if we go by TA PAC rule, is only 5 days can be excused. And I just need to verify on the governor's waiver. That is an optional governor waiver. If it's still active, I'm gonna post it so that way that you know that will allow you to be out up to 20% of the total. Okay, there's yes. No, the 5 days is gonna be out of the 70 days. Yes, if you get sick, you're required to complete 70 days. If you get sick, only 5 days can be excused. Yes, 65 days. If you need additional time to stay home that you cannot attend your placement, then you have to make up any additional days.
Okay,
Yes.
perfect. All right, so the email distribution lists, they'll make sure that you're covered in that. Are there any accommodations for placements?
Are there any accommodations for placements? When you submitted your application for clinical teaching, there's that box where you were able to submit any request for special accommodation. That has been communicated to the school district. So,
Sorry, just answering questions that we know. Oh, what about dress code?
okay, dress code. Dress code, you have to dress. I was at a mentor training last week with some of our clinical teachers, and basically the principal at that campus said, you know, you need to be professional, but you need to be comfortable because you're going to be moving all day. You're going to be fit all day. So you have to look at the campus at the school district dress code. Some districts allow you to wear jeans 1 or 2 days out of the week, and others or the campus that based on the campus. So just check with your mentor teacher on the dress code, but definitely no open toe because that can be dangerous if a child drops something on food. Others like no sleeveless. The principal said he doesn't like to look at. So, choose, no sleeveless and like, use the, don't wear your jeans, your weekend after, your fun, your jeans that your favorite pair of jeans that you use for fun.
So we do have a question about. We do have a further question about accommodations, and they're asking who should they contact? I'm sort of acting under the assumption that if it's about absences and accommodations you receive through your classroom stuff, you'll have to talk to the university. If you need physical accommodations at the campus, you'll probably need to talk to the campus.
Yes, that's correct. At the campus level, we are, yes, we're not employees of the district. So the mentor teachers and principals, they have been very, very good at accommodating. We did have a clinical teacher that needed natural lighting and windows. So she went and toured 3 different school districts to look, and she had an accommodation. She registered with UTSA disability service, and we submitted that with a placement request. So I hope that this example answers your question. So just speak to your supervisor tomorrow. Come and you can email me. You can talk to me if it's something very specific that you would like to discuss.
What about if you work?
Okay, what if you work? You have the same requirements as everybody. You have to complete the number of the instructional days in the classroom. You have to work with your employer to work around your clinical teaching schedule. Yes, another question? Okay, we can come back to you. Is there another question? Okay, okay.
Yeah, like this per day, would we have to report that as well, or is it already there a requirement?
Okay, recording on the log. It looks good when you have extra days. So yes, you can submit your log with your 70 days, but if you continue, just continue logging in and then submit that other one, and we'll replace the first one that you submitted, because it looks good and you put it on your resume. You went above and beyond. Yes. Okay, I think here. First week you go to campus. Okay, very good question. Your supervisor is going to go over the co-teaching structures, because the expectation is that you're co-planning and co-teaching with your mentor teacher from the very beginning. And there's there's one where one is teaching and the other one is observing. And so you're going to observe the first couple of weeks, but we don't want you to be in that co-teaching for half a semester. So there's 6 types of co-teaching, and there's the gradual release, where there's going to be where you're team teaching, or you're going to be taking the lead at teaching, and one teach and one assist. So you're going to have, you'll be able to work on the timeline with your supervisor and your mentor teacher. You and the mentor is negotiating, communicating with her and looking at what co-teaching structure is appropriate. Okay. Were you doing? Are you clinical, are you year-round? Clinical teaching. Oh, okay, but are you year-long? Traditional 1 semester? Yeah, you have to be there 5 days out of the week. Mhm. No, you have to be at school 5 days out of the week. Yes. Until you complete your 70 days. Huh? Well, it is semester, it's every day, and TA looks at the hours also, but it's just gonna be whatever the district considers the day. If it's 7 hours and 30 minutes, if it's 7 hours and 45 minutes, or yes.
But if they complete the 70 days,
If you complete the 70 days early, okay. If you, for those of you that are semester long, if you finish in 70 days and you want to continue, you may want to look at substituting, and the principal probably is going to be asking you because they're asking us, as soon as they're done with 70 days, as soon as they're done with the 84 days, can I hire them to substitute because they need substitute. So that's something that you can do instead of just continuing additional clinical teaching days.
do they need to arrive? So we do have a question about, do clinical teachers need to arrive when their mentor teacher is there or when the school day starts?
Yes, if you can arrive when your mentor teacher arrives. When is the mentor teacher required to be there? Usually they're required to be there like 15 minutes. Or some principals want them 30 minutes before. That's something that you have to talk to your mentor teacher. You should not be arriving when the children are arriving. You need to arrive a little earlier.
I think we had a question on that.
Okay, is there another question? Oh, okay, for tutoring, do you have to stay for tutoring? That's extra. That's going above and beyond. No, just we recommend for you to get that additional experience, but you don't have to. Some districts pay for after school tutoring or before school tutoring. So if your campus is one of those campuses, you may want to take advantage of that.
Are there any additional trainings for special education students?
Any additional training? No, not from us, other than the required training that you already know about. Yes. Yes, you put those on your PO log, but they're not counted as part of your instructional day. And there's going to be a little comment and note section. So please, if you stay after school for a parent teacher day, or sometimes they have events at the campus, you can annotate that on your PO log. Yes.
Are things like CPR, like teacher training required?
Not that I know. That's something that if the district requires that from the teachers, and if they're offering the training, please, take advantage of that. I know that there's a couple of districts that they include clinical teachers in all their trainings. Yes. Okay.
Do clinical teachers need to sign in and out of the front desk?
Yes,
For student teachers that are still attending classes, what assignments will be required throughout this semester?
No, that was my question. I'm gonna elaborate on that. I'm ACP traditional 1 semester. Are there assignments related to our clinical teaching that we have to do, or is it just the log keeping up with like the big work side?
Are you secondary or elementary? Secondary, okay. It's gonna be the same as all clinical teachers. Unless you get hired as an intern by the district.
Okay.
But it's the same requirement.
Yeah, like what the assignments for, like, what assignments we have.
Like, are we gonna have like homework and stuff?
I just don't know where to find that.
Okay, you're gonna get the syllabus tomorrow when you meet with your supervisor. Yes, all the assignments required for clinical teaching, they're on the syllabus, and you're gonna go over that with your supervisor. I know we only have 10 minutes, and I want to show you, if you go back to the agenda, you're gonna see the room numbers. So check the course that you are registered for. That's the instructor assigned, that's your supervisor. If you have a question, if you feel that there's a discrepancy, then let me know. I'll be here during lunch. But these are the room numbers. So in this last room, if Dr. Garcia and Claudia Garcia and Elide Torres, if they're your supervisors, they're gonna be here in this room tomorrow. Marisela Saavedra, Spanish supervisor, EC12 Spanish, she's gonna be in this large room as well. And then we have the music, Susan Dio and Linda Green. They're going to be in 101, yes. Yes, yes. So look at your schedule, and the name of your supervisor is the same. It should be the instructor assigned to the course is your supervisor. So where are you going to be meeting? So look at the agenda, and then you'll be able to find your supervisor's name and the room number. All the rooms are going to be in this building.
So we just go to that.
Tomorrow morning, you report at 9 a.m. to that classroom. Unless you receive an email from your supervisor giving you different instructions. Okay, yes.
We have one more question.
Okay, one more question, yes. Yes. No, if you're gonna have a virtual seminar with your supervisor, then your supervisor is gonna send you the link, and you'll be meeting with the supervisor virtually. Okay, do you have any more questions about your supervisor, where you're gonna report?
I think we might make time for individual questions.
Yes. We have 5 minutes left, so if there are any individual questions, please, I'm gonna be here. we'll take these last 5 minutes for any, individual, questions. You can come to the front and I can come down here.